If you've ever trusted two people with your whole heart, don't blink while listening to this. Because the moment I saw them at that lake, I didn't just lose love, I discovered a plan that could have ruined my entire life. My name is Haley Monroe, and the day my mom took me fishing was the day I found out my boyfriend wasn't just cheating, he was setting me up. It started like a normal Saturday morning. Cold air, quiet roads, and my mom insisting I take a break from my phone. "You've been carrying sadness like it's a backpack," she said as she drove. "Today we breathe, today we fish. Today we heal." My mom, Diane, isn't the type to talk big, she's the type who shows up. She works long hours, pays bills without complaining, and somehow still notices every time my eyes look a little duller than before. I didn't want to go, I wanted to stay in bed and scroll through messages that never came. My boyfriend, Logan Pierce, had been distant for weeks. Not distant like busy. Distant like he's already gone and forgot to tell you. He'd started doing this thing where he'd text sweet words but wouldn't call. He'd say, "I miss you," but wouldn't make plans. He'd look at my stories but ignore my questions. And every time I tried to talk about it, he'd smile that calm smile and say, "Babe, you overthink." So fishing felt like a joke. Healing felt like a word people use when they don't know what else to say. Still, I went. For my mom. We drove out to Willow Creek Lake, the one we used to go to when I was a kid. The sky was pale and the water was smooth, like the world hadn't decided what kind of day it wanted to be yet. The parking lot was mostly empty, just a few trucks, a couple older guys with tackle boxes, and one familiar vehicle that didn't belong there. My mom slowed the car. My stomach tightened before my brain even caught up, because I recognized that truck the way you recognize a voice you love in a crowded room. Black pickup. Small dent near the back. Sticker in the corner of the windshield. Logan's truck, my breath caught. That looks like. "I know," my mom said quietly. I sat up, heartbeat thundering. "He told me he was out of town. He said he was helping his cousin move." My mom didn't answer. She just parked farther away, behind a row of trees, where we could see the lake without being seen easily. And then she did something that made my blood run cold. She grabbed my wrist tight. "Haley," she whispered, "don't walk up there, not yet." The way she said it, like she already knew the kind of pain waiting for me, I swallowed hard. "Why?" My mom pointed her chin toward the far side of the lake, where the reeds were thicker and the path dipped lower. I followed her gaze. At first I didn't see anything. Just fog and water and the gentle movement of branches. Then I saw two figures near the shoreline, laughing, close, comfortable. A man in a dark hoodie. A woman with long hair tied up in a loose ponytail. My heart tried to convince me it wasn't real. Then the woman turned her head slightly, and the side of her face hit the morning light. I felt my body go numb, because I knew that profile. I'd seen it in family photos my whole life. That was my sister. Brooke Monroe, my older sister. The one who borrowed my clothes without asking. The one who hugged me too tight in public and judged me too quietly in private. The one who always acted like she knew what was best for me, even when she never asked what I wanted. She was standing beside Logan like she belonged there. And he wasn't pulling away. He handed her a cup coffee, maybe, and she took it with a smile that looked familiar in the worst way, like it had practice, like it had been used before. I couldn't breathe right. "No," I whispered. "No, that's not." My mom pulled me behind the open car door so the lakeside people couldn't see our faces clearly. "Stay low," she murmured. "Just watch." I shook my head, tears filling fast. "Mom, I have to go over there. I have to." "No," she said, sharper now, and it stunned me because my mom never gets sharp unless danger is real. "If you run up there, you'll give them control. They'll turn it on you, they'll make you the crazy one." My hands trembled. "He's cheating, with Brooke." My mom's jaw tightened so hard I saw the muscle move. "I know." A gust of wind rolled across the water and the fog shifted like a curtain. That's when I saw it clearly. Logan stepped closer to Brooke. He didn't hesitate. He didn't look around like he was scared of being caught. He leaned in with the confidence of a man who thinks he's untouchable. And he kissed her. Not a quick peck. Not confusion. A slow kiss, comfortable, practiced, like it wasn't their first time and definitely not their last. My vision blurred. My chest tightened like someone had wrapped rope around my lungs. I pressed my hand over my mouth to keep myself from making a sound. Behind the trees, my mom whispered, "Oh my God." The world didn't spin. It didn't go dramatic the way movies show it. It went quiet, too quiet, like even my body didn't know how to react. Then my phone buzzed, a text from Logan. Morning babe, busy today, might be off my phone. Love you? I stared at the words until they looked unreal. My fingers went cold, and my mind did something strange, like a switch flipped from heartbreak to clarity. He wasn't just cheating. He was lying in real time. He was kissing my sister while calling me babe. I lifted my eyes again, and I noticed something I didn't notice at first. Brooke wasn't acting guilty. She was acting proud. She said something that made Logan laugh. Then she reached into a tote bag and pulled out a small folder, thin, paper-colored, and handed it to him like it mattered. Logan opened it, looked through it, and nodded. My stomach dropped. Why would they have a folder at a lake? I leaned closer, trying to read their body language, trying to make my brain stop shaking long enough to understand. Logan tucked the folder inside his hoodie like it was important. Then he pulled out his phone and typed fast, glancing around. My phone buzzed again. Another message from Logan. Don't forget Monday is the day we meet the realtor. This is our future. Realtor? I felt my blood turn to ice. He'd been pushing me for weeks to sign papers for an apartment we couldn't miss. He'd been pressuring me to combine finances, so it's easier. He'd been asking for my login details, so he could help with budgeting. I thought it was love. Now, watching him with Brooke, it suddenly looked like a plan. My mom's voice was low, furious. Haley, that's not just cheating, that's something else. I swallowed hard, wiping tears with shaking fingers. What do you mean? She nodded toward Logan's hands. Look how careful he is with that folder. My stomach churned. Mom, what if? My mom didn't finish my sentence. She just looked at me with the kind of fear mothers don't show unless it's serious. In that moment, I stopped being the girlfriend who got betrayed. I became the girl who needed proof. Slowly, quietly, I opened my camera. My hands shook, but I aimed through the gap between the trees. I zoomed in just enough. I recorded Logan and Brooke laughing. I recorded the kiss. I recorded him tucking the folder away. Then, as if the universe wanted to make sure I could never unsee the truth, Brooke leaned into Logan's ear and said something that made him smile like he'd won. He turned, looked out across the lake, right in the direction of our car, and for a split second, his eyes narrowed like he felt something. Like he felt me, my heart slammed. He didn't see us, but he sensed something. And that scared me more than the cheating, because cheaters hide. Predators plan. My mom whispered, we leave. Now, I nodded slowly, but my eyes stayed locked on them as we backed away. As we got into the car, my phone buzzed again, this time from my sister. Brooke. Hey, are you up? I had a dream about you last night. Miss you? My throat tightened. The audacity made my hands stop shaking and start feeling heavy. My mom started the engine. What are you going to do? She asked softly. I stared at the lake one last time, the fog still covering half the water like it was protecting secrets. And I whispered, I'm going to smile. I'm going to act normal. I'm going to let them think I know nothing. My mom glanced at me, and then, I looked down at the video I'd just recorded. Then, I said, voice steady now, I'm going to ruin them with the truth they thought I'd never find. If you want to hear how I set the trap, how I made my sister confess without realizing it, and how Logan walked right into the revenge he deserved, subscribe, because part 2 is where the game begins. I didn't cry when we drove away from the lake. That's what scared me the most. My mom kept glancing at me from the driver's seat, probably waiting for the tears, the shaking, the breakdown that usually follows betrayal. But none of that came. Something inside me had gone very still, like the calm eye of a storm where decisions are made, not emotions. Say something, my mom finally whispered. I can't, I replied honestly. If I start talking, I might start screaming, and if I scream, I might do something stupid. She nodded, gripping the steering wheel tighter. Then we breathe, and we think. That was the first rule of the revenge that followed. We did not confront. Not yet. Back home, everything looked the same. The walls, the couch, the family photos where my sister's arm was always around my shoulders like she owned me. I went to my room, shut the door, and sat on my bed staring at the video on my phone. Logan and Brooke, laughing, kissing, planning. I watched it 3 times, not to hurt myself but to memorize details. The way Logan checked his surroundings. The way Brooke touched his arm when she spoke. The way neither of them looked guilty. This wasn't a mistake. This was a relationship. My phone buzzed. Logan, hey babe, just checking in. Everything okay? I stared at the screen, my thumb hovering. My mom knocked softly and peeked in. What are you going to do? I looked up at her. I'm going to lie. She didn't flinch, she just nodded once. Then lie smart. I typed back, me, all good, just tired, miss you read, the typing bubbles appeared instantly. Logan, miss you too, can't wait for Monday, big step for us. Monday, the realtor, the apartment. The papers he wanted me to sign. Now I understood why he was rushing. Why he kept saying things like, trust me, and it's just paperwork. Why he wanted access to my savings for convenience. I closed my eyes. If I hadn't gone fishing, if my mom hadn't insisted, I would have signed my life away to a man who was already sleeping with my sister. That night, Brooke came over for dinner. She hugged me the moment she walked in, tight, dramatic, like she was performing sisterhood for an invisible audience. You look pale, she said, touching my cheek. Are you okay? Her nails were the same color as the ones I'd seen wrapped around Logan's wrist that morning. I'm fine, I replied softly, just stressed. She smiled sympathetically. You always overthink, you need to relax more. I almost laughed. At the table, she talked about her job, her gym, her plans. Logan texted her twice during dinner. I knew because I saw her phone light up and the way her lips curved when she read it. She thought she was winning. After dinner, she followed me into my room like she always did. I heard you and Logan are getting an apartment, she said casually, leaning against my dresser. That's serious. Yeah, I said, it's fast, but he says it's our future. She tilted her head. And you trust him? I met her eyes. Don't you? For a split second, just when her mask slipped. Then she laughed. Of course, he's a great guy. I nodded slowly. He really is. That was the moment I decided something important. I wasn't going to expose them immediately. I was going to let them dig deeper. Over the next few days, I played my role perfectly. I let Logan talk about the apartment. I let Brooke give me advice. I smiled. I agreed. I asked questions. And I recorded everything. Logan didn't know I'd turned on autorecord for calls. Brooke didn't know I'd synced my messages to the cloud. Neither of them noticed how carefully I asked things like, so whose idea was it to move in so fast? Do you think mixing money ever causes problems? Would you ever lie to protect someone you love? They answered freely, because liars always do when they think they're safe. By Friday, I had more than proof of cheating. I had proof of intent. Logan wanted me on the lease because my credit was better. He wanted my savings as emergency backup. And Brooke, she knew everything. One night, while Logan thought I was asleep, he whispered into his phone, once it's signed, she's locked in. Then we can stop pretending. I didn't move. I didn't breathe. I just let the recording run. The next morning, my mom sat beside me on the couch as I showed her everything. The messages, the calls, the video from the lake. Her face aged 10 years in 10 minutes. They plan to trap you, she whispered. Both of them? Yes, I said calmly, and now I'm going to reverse it. She looked at me carefully. How far are you willing to go? I met her gaze without blinking. As far as the truth needs to travel. Monday was coming. The realtor meeting, the papers. The moment they thought they'd won. What Logan and Brooke didn't know was that while they were planning my future, I was planning their exposure. If you think revenge is loud and messy, subscribe. Because the quiet kind is already moving, and in part 3, you'll hear the exact conversation where my sister admits everything without realizing she's confessing. The confession didn't start with anger. It started with laughter. That's how I knew it was going to destroy her. The morning of the realtor meeting arrived like any other Monday, gray sky, bitter coffee, and a calm that felt fake, like the quiet before something snaps. Logan texted me at 7:12 am. Logan. Big day, you excited? This is the start of our real life. I stared at the message, my reflection faint on the phone screen. Real life. He had no idea how right he was. Me. So excited, I'll be ready. I wasn't lying, just not the way he thought. Before leaving the house, I hugged my mom longer than usual. She smelled like soap and worry. You don't have to do this, she whispered. We can go straight to the police. I shook my head. Not yet, I need them to finish what they started. She searched my face. Promise me you'll stay safe. I promise, I said, and this time I meant it. The realtor's office was small and overly cheerful, like it had never seen heartbreak signed paperwork before. Logan arrived first, confident, charming, shaking hands like he owned the place. He kissed my forehead when I walked in, just light enough to look loving. My stomach turned, but I smiled. Brooke arrived 10 minutes later. She wore a beige coat and that innocent expression she'd perfected since childhood. The one that made teachers trust her, friends defend her, and parents believe she'd never do anything wrong. She hugged me. I'm so happy for you, she said softly. This is huge. I looked into her eyes and felt nothing. That's why I wanted you here, I replied sweetly. I trust you. Logan glanced at her, surprised. You didn't tell me Brooke was coming. I wanted her opinion, I said. She always knows what's best for me. The lie tasted clean. We sat around the table. Papers spread out neatly. Numbers highlighted. Responsibilities divided. Logan did most of the talking, explaining why it made sense for the lease to be in my name, why it was temporary, why combining finances showed commitment. The realtor nodded, unconcerned. Brooke nodded too. That's when I leaned back and said casually, I had a weird dream. They both looked at me. In the dream, I continued lightly, Logan was cheating on me and Brooke knew. Logan laughed too fast. What kind of dream is that? Brooke's smile froze for half a second. I know, right? I said. So unrealistic. Silence settled. I tilted my head. But it made me think, if someone was cheating and their sister knew, wouldn't that be worse than the cheating itself? Brooke cleared her throat. Why would I know something like that? I shrugged. You're close to Logan. You text all the time. Sometimes people confide in the wrong person. Logan shot me a warning look. Haley, what is this? I met his eyes calmly. I'm just saying, honesty matters before signatures. The realtor shifted uncomfortably. Do you need a moment? No, Logan snapped, then softer, we're good. Brooke forced a laugh. Haley's just nervous, big commitment. I smiled at her. You're right, that's why I need to ask you something woman to woman. She straightened. Okay, if you were ever involved with someone I loved, I said slowly, would you tell me? Her eyes flickered to Logan. I mean, she said carefully, hypothetically. Of course, I replied. Everything here is hypothetical. She hesitated too long. I'd protect family, she said finally. Sometimes the truth does more harm than good. Logan exhaled, relieved. I nodded thoughtfully. That's interesting. Then I pressed play. The audio filled the room, clear, unmistakable. Logan's voice, Brooke's voice. Once she signs, she can't back out. She trusts us. She won't find out. The realtor stood up so fast his chair scraped loudly. Logan went pale. What the hell is that? I looked at Brooke. You tell me. Her mouth opened, closed. That's taken out of context, she stammered. Oh, I said, calmly reaching for my phone. Want the full context? Logan slammed his hand on the table. You recorded us. Yes, I said. After I found you kissing my sister at the lake. The words hit like a gunshot. The realtor backed away. I'm ending this meeting. Brooke stood up, shaking. Haley, please, I stood too. No, I said softly. This is the part where you listen. I turned to Logan. You planned to trap me financially, then to Brooke, and you helped him. Tears streamed down her face. I didn't mean for it to go this far. Logan exploded. You promised you wouldn't tell her. There it was, the confession. I hit record again. The room went silent. The realtor quietly left. I looked at them, two people who thought they were smarter than me. This meeting is over, I said. But what happens next isn't. I walked out without another word. Outside, my phone vibrated nonstop. Missed calls, messages, panic. I didn't answer any of them, because part 4 wasn't about confrontation. It was about consequences. If you want to hear how my sister begged, how Logan tried to flip the story, and how I made sure the truth reached everyone who mattered, subscribe, because part 4 is where the quiet revenge becomes impossible to escape. The begging didn't start immediately. It never does. First comes denial, because people who betray you always believe they're smarter than the truth. The moment I walked out of that realtor's office, the sky cracked open and rain started falling like it had been waiting for permission. My phone exploded in my hand, calls, messages, missed calls stacking so fast I couldn't even read the names. Logan, Brooke, Logan again, then my aunt, then my cousin. I didn't answer a single one. I sat in my car, rain pounding against the windshield, and finally let myself breathe. My hands were shaking, but not from fear, from adrenaline. Because for the first time since that morning at the lake, I wasn't reacting anymore. I was in control. My mom called. Are you safe? She asked, her voice tight. I'm okay, I said, but it started. She was quiet for a moment. Come home, don't be alone tonight. I won't, I promised. When I got home, my mom was already waiting by the window like she used to when I was a kid. She pulled me into a hug so tight I finally broke. Just a little. Not the screaming kind of crying. The silent kind where tears fall because your body finally understands it survived something. You did the right thing, she whispered. I know, I said, and for the first time I truly believed it. 10 minutes later, the doorbell rang. My heart dropped. My mom moved in front of me instinctively. Stay back, she opened the door. Brooke stood there, not the confident, polished Brooke from the realtor's office. This Brooke looked smaller, mascara streaked, hair messy, hands shaking. "I need to talk to her," Brooke said, voice breaking. My mom crossed her arms. "You've talked enough." Brooke looked past her and locked eyes with me. "Please, just 5 minutes." I stepped forward. 1 minute, we stood in the doorway like strangers. "I didn't plan it like this," Brooke said immediately. "It just happened." I tilted my head. "The kiss happened. The planning happened. The lying happened." "Which part wasn't planned?" She flinched. "Logan told me you were pulling away," she continued desperately. "He said you didn't love him anymore. He said the apartment was your idea, that you wanted him locked in." I laughed softly. "So you slept with him to protect him?" she sobbed. "I didn't mean to hurt you." "You didn't mean to get caught," I corrected. Her face collapsed. "He said once everything was signed it wouldn't matter." There it was. I looked straight at her. "Say that again." She shook her head. "I can't." "You already did," I replied calmly, lifting my phone. "And now I have it recorded." Her eyes went wide with horror. "Haley, please, get out," my mom said firmly. Brooke reached for me. "We're sisters." I stepped back. "Not today." She left crying, collapsing into Logan's truck parked across the street. That's when the second phase began. Within an hour, Logan posted a long post, carefully written, calm, manipulative. He called it his truth. He said I was unstable, that I misunderstood a harmless friendship, that my mom was controlling and had poisoned me against him. He didn't deny the kiss, he reframed it as confusion. He didn't deny the apartment plan, he called it love. And people believed him. At first, then I posted, not emotion, not insults, evidence, the lake video, the audio recordings, the realtor meeting clip, Brooke's doorstep confession. I didn't tag anyone, I didn't add captions full of anger. I just wrote one sentence, "Here is the truth, decide for yourselves." The internet did the rest. Comments turned brutal, screenshots spread. Friends started messaging apologies. Logan's coworkers stopped liking his posts. His job quietly removed him from their website that same evening. But the worst blow didn't come from strangers. It came from family. My aunt called, furious. "How could Brooke do this to you?" My cousin texted. "Logan tried to lie to me. I told him not to contact our family again." By midnight, Logan was calling nonstop. I finally answered. "Please," he said, voice cracked. "Take it down, I'll do anything." I stared at the wall. "You already did everything." "I love you," he whispered. "No," I replied calmly. "You loved control, silence, then anger. You ruined my life." I smiled faintly. "You built it on lies." I hung up and blocked him everywhere. The next morning, something unexpected happened. A message from someone I didn't know. "Hi, I'm a woman Logan dated before you. I saw your post. He did the same thing to me." My stomach tightened, then another. "And me." Then another. By noon, there were 4 of us. Different women. Same pattern. That's when I realized this story was bigger than me. And that's when I decided part 5 wouldn't just be revenge, it would be justice. If you want to hear how I exposed his pattern publicly, how my sister tried one last betrayal, and how the final trap closed in a way none of them expected, subscribe, because part 5 is where everything collapses. The pattern didn't reveal itself all at once. It came in whispers. At first, I thought the messages were coincidence, hurt women finding comfort in someone else's pain. But as I read every word, a cold understanding settled into my chest. Logan didn't just cheat, he repeated. Different cities, different faces. Same script. One woman said he rushed commitment, talked about moving in within weeks. Another said he pushed her to combine finances to prove trust. A third said he always involved someone close, best friend, cousin, sister, to isolate her. And every time, when the woman started questioning him, he painted her as unstable. I sat at the kitchen table long after midnight, laptop open, notes scattered, my mom asleep in the other room. I wasn't crying anymore. I wasn't shaking. I was documenting. By sunrise, I had timelines, screenshots, voice notes, and consent from every woman to share their stories anonymously. Logan had always relied on one thing, silence. He never expected us to talk to each other. I posted again, but this time not about me. I titled it simply, "This isn't about one breakup." I shared the pattern, the manipulation, the financial pressure, the emotional isolation. I blurred names, I protected faces, I let the facts speak. Within hours, the comments changed tone. This wasn't drama anymore. This was exposure. Logan's phone must have been melting down because he showed up at the house that afternoon. I saw his truck through the window and felt nothing. My mom stood beside me. "Do you want me to call someone?" "No," I said calmly. I want to hear what he says when he knows he's finished. I stepped outside alone. Logan looked exhausted. Eyes red, hands shaking. The confidence he wore like armor was gone. You turned people against me, he said hoarsely. I folded my arms. You did that, he swallowed. Brooke told me you're ruining her too. That stung just for a second. She helped you, I said. She made her choice. He stepped closer. Take it down, please, I'll disappear, I'll leave town. I met his eyes. You don't disappear from what you did. His face hardened. You think you're some hero now? No, I replied. I think I'm done being quiet. He laughed bitterly. You don't even know what you started. Oh, I do, I said. And so do the people reading. That's when his phone rang. He checked the screen and his face drained of color. What? I asked. He didn't answer. He just stared, then whispered, they can't do this. Who? I pressed. My job, he said. They put me on leave. I nodded. That happens when people don't trust you. He backed away slowly, like the ground had shifted under his feet. You think this makes you strong? I answered without hesitation. It makes me free. He drove off without another word. That night my sister tried one last time. Brooke sent a long message, pages of it, apologies tangled with excuses. She said she was confused, that she never meant to hurt me, that she lost herself. I read it once. Then I replied with one sentence. You didn't lose yourself, you chose yourself over me. I blocked her. The next morning, something unexpected happened. A local journalist reached out. She said she'd seen my post. She said multiple women had contacted her independently. She said she wanted to talk, not about names, not about gossip, but about how emotional manipulation works and how often it hides behind charm. I agreed on one condition. No faces, no drama, just truth. The article went live 2 days later. Logan's name wasn't mentioned. He didn't need to be, because anyone who mattered could see themselves in the story or see someone they loved. By the end of the week, his social media was gone. His friends stopped calling. His world, built on control and secrecy, collapsed quietly. And me, I went fishing again. Same lake, same dock, same morning fog. This time I didn't hide. I cast my line and breathed in the silence, the real kind, not the kind that hides lies. My mom sat beside me, smiling softly. You okay? She asked. I nodded. Better than okay. Because revenge wasn't screaming. It wasn't humiliation. It wasn't destruction. It was truth traveling farther than lies ever could. If you want to hear how this story truly ends, and what happened months later when someone I never expected reached out, subscribe, because part 6 isn't about him or my sister. It's about the life I built after them. The message came 6 months later, on a quiet Sunday night, when my life finally felt like it belonged to me again. No drama, no chaos, just peace. That's how I knew the past wasn't done with me yet. I was sitting on my bed, window open, the sound of traffic far away, when my phone buzzed with a notification from an unfamiliar email address. You don't know me, but your story saved me. I stared at the screen for a long moment before opening it. Her name was Lena. She wrote carefully, like every word had weight. She said she'd been dating Logan for 4 months after me. She said he'd told her I was unstable, that my family was toxic, that I'd tried to ruin him out of jealousy. She believed him until she saw the article. I recognized the pattern, she wrote. The rush, the pressure, the way he tried to isolate me from my sister. I left before it was too late. My hands shook, not from anger, but from something heavier. Relief, because for the first time I understood something important. What I did didn't just end a relationship. It broke a cycle. I replied to Lena. I told her she was brave. I told her she wasn't crazy. I told her she deserved better. When I hit send, I felt something finally settle. Closure. My sister never apologized properly. She moved to another city, changed her circle, rewrote the story in her head until she could live with herself again. We don't talk, we might never talk. And that's okay. Some people don't belong in your future, not because you hate them, but because you love yourself more. As for Logan, I heard things, bits and pieces. He tried to start over, tried to charm new people. But once the mask cracks, it never fits the same again. People ask questions. Women warn each other. Silence stopped protecting him. One afternoon, I went back to Willow Creek Lake alone this time. Same dock, same water, different girl. I cast my line and waited. I thought about who I was when I first stood there, hiding behind trees, shaking, watching my life fall apart. And I smiled. Because that girl didn't know yet that betrayal would become her turning point. My mom joined me later, sitting beside me like she always had, handing me coffee and quiet strength. I worried that day, she said softly. That it would break you, I shook my head. It built me, she smiled, eyes shining. I see that. I do too. I trust myself now. I listen to my instincts. I don't confuse love with sacrifice or silence with peace. And most importantly, I don't beg for honesty from people who survive on lies. If you're listening to this story and something feels familiar, if your heart has ever whispered that something wasn't right, believe it. Love doesn't trap you. Family doesn't betray you. And silence is never the price of peace. This wasn't just a revenge story. It was a reminder that sometimes the worst day of your life is actually the day you stop being owned by fear. If you stayed until the end, subscribe, because there are more stories like this, and none of them end with the woman losing herself. They end with her choosing it.